Hello, my stitchy friends. This is Stacy of Stacy Creates Stuff, and this is Flosstube number 3. In today's episode, we have a FFO, an almost finished, a haul, and a couple works in progress. We'll start with my FFO, which the last time I did a Flosstube wasn't even in my brain. It was a very tiny little pattern that I came up with last week. Drew it out, stitched it up, and then this week made it into a very tiny little pillow. So it's perfect for Easter decorations. I put a nice little pink mottled fabric on the back and stuffed it. So that was very fun. And I have it available as a free download if you join my email list for cross stitchers. So it comes with a chart and the pattern. And of course, I'm a big one for pick whatever colors you like. I do list the colors that I used and, but have fun with it. Mix things up. So I will put the link in the description below on how you can join my email list for all sorts of stitchy goodness because, well, you'll find out in a little bit, designing is kind of my thing. Speaking of designing, creating, I made myself a little needle book this week. And I was going to film a tutorial. It's super simple to make. And apparently I didn't hit the record button on my phone, so I'll have to work on another one. You really can't have too many needle books, can you? So this one currently has my cross-stitch needle in it, but ultimately it's going to become one of my sewing needle books. And because I tend to use needle minders for my cross-stitch, but I'll probably make some for cross-stitch projects as well. I guess that counts as a finished object, right? Also up on finishes, but not quite, is my little logo. So I have stitched this on, right behind it, there we go. This was on a disc that I got from Michael's. It comes 2 little discs to a pack, and it's wood, really thin wood. Turn it here so you can see, very thin. And I thought, what do I have that's circular that can go in that? Oh, my logo. So that is stitched. All the crosses are done. I just have to go back and do some back stitching. So I will do that in my leisure, but I'm very excited that that is done. That's just going to go on my wall in my office. And next up is my work in progress. Now, I don't have a photo of what the finish project looks like because it's another one that I've designed. I had so much fun with my little egg. I thought, why not? Let's make a bigger one. This one's totally different though. But here is the top part of it. And I am stitching this on blue linen. It is 28 count. It's just Charles Craft linen. It was, if you saw my previous Flosstube, I had ordered a tube of blue to practice on for another project, but instead I've just jumped right in with this one. So I started this yesterday because I just couldn't wait, and I stitched on it a little bit this morning as well, and I will be working on it even further. By the way, because I forgot to say, this little pillow was stitched on 14 count oatmeal Aida cloth. But obviously you could do it on whatever you want. It finishes about, the little pillow is 2.5 inches square. So you can see it's small. So if you stitch it on a smaller count, larger count, you stitch it so that the stitches take up less space, it's going to be even smaller, of course. All right, that is my work in progress. So next floss tube, I will definitely have more of that done. Maybe I'm pretty motivated. I might have the whole thing done. It's going pretty well. This was my first project on linen. For as many stitches as I have done, half of those have been done 2 or 3 times. There was a lot of frogging. So, but I think I'm getting in the groove with it now. So it's definitely a little bit of a learning curve in just figuring out the 2 stitches or 2 threads thing. And then I miscounted at one point and stitch a whole length of floss and then had to take it all out. It's all good now. It's all good. Now, I also, before I get into some of the other things that I have getting ready to kit up, I have a haul, which makes sense so that you can see what I'm getting ready to kit up. So we do have a local needlework store here in my area, and it's pretty big. I was very impressed. I'd only been in it once before, very quickly when I was looking for some yarn or to see what they had in yarn. I wasn't planning to buy any yarn. I have a lot of yarn. But it was overwhelming for the cross stitch stuff. So this time I went to look at the cross stitch stuff, still overwhelming. Oh my gosh. But I did find some stuff. And the purpose of going, besides to just check out everything, was to get some fabric so that I could try out different counts, different colors, just get a feel of the different fabrics. And I also wanted to pick up some different flosses. I have a ton of DMC floss, and I even have some Weeks Dye Works, which, by the way, is what I'm getting used to this floss tube thing. I'm using a Weeks Dye Works for this single color. I am probably going to stitch it again in multiple colors. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to look lovely in a single color. The Weeks Dye Works thread that I have has been in my stash for, well, I'm pretty sure that when they first came out, that's where my stash is from, that it's early on in the Weeks Dye Works, like Weeks Dye Works was new. And as a matter of fact, the tag says it's not color fast. And of course now their colors are color fast. So that's how old it is. But for this project, it's going to be just fine. So let me show you the fabric that I got from the local needlework store, which is called Salty Yarns. And it was great. So they had a wall of fabric, kind of like mine, except all stitching cloth. But they also had these bins of bits and pieces, which was perfect if you're just experimenting and trying to figure things out. So I believe it's mostly linen. We'll go with it's linen unless I say otherwise, but I think I was focusing on linen. This is a 28 count in, it doesn't say what color, it just says linen. Some of them are much more, have more details on them. So it's a lovely kind of coffee shade. And I was looking for some kind of grayish, bluish colors. This is Lakeside Misty Rain in 28 count. So that is pretty. It's probably getting a little washed out on the camera, but it's a gray. It's lovely. This is a very small swatch called Touch of Gray in 32 count. So again, I was trying different counts. So the first two were 28. This is 32. Weeks Dye Works Tin Roof, 40 count. That is a lovely taupey color. I'm not going to take them all out of the bags because I will have them everywhere and then I won't know what is what. Morris Blue, also from Weeks Dye Works, 32 count. That's a lovely blue. antique white linen, 32 count. And then this is sand, 32 count, from PTP. And I can't remember what company that is. So I'll put it at the bottom if I look it up beforehand. And here we go. That's the sand, and then this is mint. So you will see all these again when I start stitching on them, even if it's just practice stuff. So that was, oh, no, that wasn't it. One other fabric. This one is a slightly larger piece, and this is Belfast Charcoal in 32. So it's a lovely, lovely shade. And this has a specific project that it is going for. All the others are just to play around with, practice, see what kind of stitch counts or thread count that I can manage. So even the 28 count that I'm using for the blue Easter egg here, magnification. Can't do it without magnification. So we shall see. All right, what do we have here? All right, then I got some thread. I have some Weeks Dye Works, which, as I mentioned before, I had some in my stash, but you know, I was looking for some specific colors to test out. So I have this assortment of neutrals and peachy, pink, and rust colors. So these four are probably going into a project. Well, it might be between these two neutrals. We'll see. I might use them both. And this was just to see something else. You'll see a lot of this shade of pink going on in this haul here. I did pick up some DMC in that similar shade because I was running out from doing my logo of the pinks that I was using. So I just picked up some more of that. That's kind of boring. So now let's take a look and see. I believe this is silk. It feels like silk. And this is Swaldalger. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's beautiful. You can see I'm into the shades of pink. So I'm going to try stitching with that. I also picked up two Classic Color Works. One is the 100% cotton in Blueberry Tart. Just a lovely shade of blue. I think I had a project in mind for this too, and it wasn't the blue Easter egg. It'll come to me. And this is the Belsois spun silk. That's just gorgeous. Oh, it feels so good too. So I'm curious to try those out. And then from Sampler Threads, no, from the Gentle Art Midnight. So yes, those three shades of blue are very lovely. And it definitely wasn't for the Easter egg because the Easter egg hadn't been in my brain yet. So I don't know. I'm sure I had something that I thought, this will be good. We'll see. Oh, I think I remember. We'll get to that in a moment. All right, so that was it from my local. No, it wasn't. Two more things. I did pick up two patterns. Symphonic Romance from Summer House. I just thought that was gorgeous. It uses a Gloriana thread for, it's just the one color around, all of this part. And then the little frame around the initial is a second color. So I'm going to play around, see what I like for that. And I also got from October House the Knitter's Alphabet. I keep mentioning that I'm a knitter. There's really no evidence of that other than a lot of yarn. But eventually there's going to be some knitting on this channel. I thought this was really cute. I will probably, though, do it on a brighter fabric with brighter color thread. So that's a little too washed out for me, but the pattern itself is adorable. Then I had a market order from Lindy Stitches, and that came yesterday, so very exciting. We'll start with the pattern I ordered from Tiny Modernist. I just love this when Stephanie showed it on her channel. Follow your heart. I love it. And it's Hardy Pink, so yay. So I'm planning to kit that up in the next couple of weeks, kind of figure out what I'm going to use for that. And then I also ordered this blue, it's called Whisper, 32 count Blue Whisper from Belfast Linen by Zweigart. And it has a slight mottled effect. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the screen, but this is what I am using to kit up for my koi. So this is another design. This is only a very small portion. There's much more to it, where I was just kind of testing out how I wanted things to go. Why is there like a, oh, I see. Because it's actually white there. I'm like, what is that thread? But yeah, it's part of the fish. So the blue that I spoke of earlier, showed you, and now we'll have to see how good was I to fabric unseen. And but I think that might work. This blue, the midnight blue, might be a little too dark, so I might need to find something between these two. We'll see. We shall see. That is for the water and the shadow of the fish. And then the fish will be in, well, one fish will be in pink. That's why I have so many pinks. So we'll see what else. Other fish are in shades of orange, I think. And we'll see. So that'll be in progress, hopefully soon. Hopefully very soon. What other things am I going to kit up? Oh, well, I'm going to kit up what this fabric is for, and it will be using these, not a Halloween design. So another one of my original designs. So I'm anxious to get that one going as well. See, I am way behind on the whole works in progress. I have one, well, two if you count the logo that just needs the back stitching. So I need to start a lot more things. And since I finished something, I think that gives me license to start like 5 things immediately. So I'm going to be working on that. So that's going to get kitted up, the koi. And as I find floss and fabric for the symphonic romance, I'm going to kit that up as well. I want to get started. I want to get all those going. That will be fun. And to keep all of this straight for myself, I made myself some project cards. They are actually folded. So on the one side, it has all the information, you know, the pertinent things that you want. And on the back side, it has a year's worth of little boxes so that you can check off that you've worked on it. So let me show you one that's in progress. Here is my ornate egg going on with that, which is 83 by 111 stitches. And I've worked on it for 2 days, including today. So that's what that is. And then, of course, inside you could put more notes, a photo, whatever. So that is going to hopefully keep me straight. We'll see. The other thing that I made up this week were my own floss drops. So I had a tutorial, or I have a tutorial on YouTube here on how to make these hexagons for English paper piecing, which if you're not a quilter looks like this. So you make up these little paper hexagons. Grab one here. And you put fabric, you baste fabric around it, and then you sew the little hexagons together, and they make little flowers. You can make other shapes as well. So I thought, that'd be kind of fun to have a hexagon-shaped floss drop, right? So that's what I did. And I put it with one large hole for, like, you know, the skein, and then a smaller hole if you have just a bit, you could add that there. And then, of course, there is a hole at the top to put it onto a floss ring. But, you know, my egg is using one, so it doesn't warrant having to have its own floss ring. And I think that's been my week. Usually I have 2 floss tubes before this one. I had been putting those out on Friday. I did wait a couple of days because I knew that my Lindy Stitches order was in transit. So I figured, well, I might as well just wait until it gets here. And I think I'm going to move my floss tube to the earlier part of the week anyway. We'll see. The next few weeks are kind of chaotic in my life. So it'll just kind of be when it is. If you are new to my channel and you've made it through this far, I am also a quilter, a knitter. At least I keep claiming I'm a knitter, but really I am. And embroiderer. If it involves fiber, I'm all over it. So you can catch some of my quilting tutorials, and I have a Block of the Week series on quilting that is currently ongoing called Patching the Hole in the Barn Door. But this week has been about stitching. Next week might also be a lot about stitching. So I hope that many of you have gotten your market orders are arriving or about to arrive. It was very exciting. One day I'd like to be a vendor at market, but I need to have a few designs actually completed before then. They're not going to let me in with just this. So, and again, if you want this, check the description. Sign up for the email list. I promise I am not someone who emails constantly. And you can just be on the cross-stitch portion of the email list. But there are check boxes in case you are interested in quilting or other things. Then check those off. And occasionally you'll get some email from me. That's fun, right? All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. I will be around on YouTube again. I usually put out 2 or 3 videos a week, not always cross-stitch related, but check out my channel. Subscribe if you like what you have been watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.